This is the medicine wheel. This is the balance of life, of the physical, of the spiritual, of the mental, of the emotional. For Oneida student Rayanne Funmaker, this is the connection to home, to tradition, to her past, even when she is here in Madison, away from the reservation. Over coffee, she explained to me what the first quarter of the wheel means to her. Physical life. In 1879, Congress allocated funds to construct the first mission school in Pennsylvania. Native children were forced to physically move away from their homes, away from their languages, away from their families, and away from their traditions. The purpose of the schools was to make the natives civilized and obedient as the white man saw fit. At boarding school, the children's hair was cut, they wore uniforms, they played white man's games, and spoke white man's words. In 1913, in a letter, an Oneida woman described her son's experience at Flandreau Indian School, saying that he, quote, could not stay if he went back. Mrs. Elm's son had run away from the school multiple times in avoidance of the ethnic cleansing. He wanted to return to his physical home in Green Bay. Another Oneida mother wrote to the superintendent, quote, when will you send the Oneidas home? This idea of being physically at peace in a place is important to the Oneida people, as they have been forced from their homelands in New York to Green Bay, Wisconsin. As my own family migrated from Sweden only a few generations ago, I must ask myself, how am I connected to my homeland? I've never seen Sweden, and as I am at school, away from my own home, do I feel drawn back to the sacredness that is my family, my traditions, my land, just as Mrs. Elm's son. The next quarter, Rayanne explained, is concerning spirituality, without which, she explained to me, we don't know who we are, or better yet, why we are. Rayanne's great-grandmother, like many young people of the Iroquois Confederacy, may have been asking herself these very same questions as she attended a Catholic Indian school years ago. Catholic and Protestant missionaries set up schools in Indian country, starting in the 1870s. Although students were allowed to keep hold of familial ties and traditions, Christianity was heavily taught in such schools. Rayanne describes her great-grandmother as being Christianized. This belief in Christianity, while incorporating native tradition, describes spiritual values of more liberal missionary schools of yesteryear and of the Oneida youth today. Oneidas, Rayanne explained, are open-minded people. Because belief is something one holds dear and deep inside, it is a sense of physical place, a place in your heart to hold prayers, dances, songs, and love. That is where our roots really are. This brings me to the third quarter of the mythical medicine wheel balance, knowledge. Unlike her great-grandmother, Rayanne and her peers have the opportunity to choose to pursue their education as they see fit. Oneida youth are now able to grow out of the negativity of Western education by building bridges and bringing spoken word, poetry, and new skills back to their communities. Education out of choice, and not out of force. The emotional balance completes the medicine wheel. For most of our lives, we are taught, as the boarding school masters taught Native children, to see the world through white Western eyes. We are taught about Native history through the lenses of victory for various white presidents and various acts. We are told that the Bureau of Indian Affairs started in 1877 as a way to join the natives and the white folk. We were not taught to feel the tears of the children forced from their homes when the BIA started the Flandreau Indian School in Green Bay. We were not taught to see between the lines, nor to look into the eyes of those most affected. Rayanne's great-grandmother wanted nothing more than to return to her physical home, heal her spiritual heart, stay true to her native knowledge, and to feel how it feels to walk in everyday life. History, in the end, is not black and white, as the pictures and textbooks of Indian boarding schools may appear. Instead, they are full of color and the balance of the physical, spiritual, mental, and emotional realms of the medicine wheel. Through the values of balance that is the wheel, we can tap into such sacredness wherever we are, whether it be Sweden, Green Bay, or right here in Madison. In the words of Oneida Leslie Gray, the whole earth is sacred.